Welcome, Dr. Manoj, sir. Good evening, sir. Oh, Rekha, ma'am. Ma'am, make sir as co-host, ma'am. Rekha, ma'am. Ma'am, can you hear me? Oh, Ma'am, I'll share the screen for as of now, ma'am.
Hello, you can hear me, right? Sir, you are
Hi.
co-host
Yes,
now.
Rekha, ma'am. Ah, okay,
Uh,
done.
sir is co-host now, right? You are
Yeah,
co-host.
yeah. I'm
Sir also.
unmuting, sir.
Fine. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll share my screen and check it.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, you stop sharing, ma'am.
Yeah. I stopped. I stopped.
Ma'am, first of all, close this Adobe's where Sigma's file and all, ma'am.
Yeah, that's what. This is a multiple I want.
Okay.
Yes, here I'm finding it small.
Check it.
कसं काढा Zoom तुमच्या हे ओपन आहे ते कसं काढा
You are able to see my screen share.
yes sir
Yes,
yes
sir.
Okay. I'll check play some video testimony and see whether it is coming well. Then we are done.
yes sir ah yeah.
When I spoke to Dr. Manoj, he said, "What you are feeling?" Doctor, I am feeling great. There is nothing, there is no sign, there is no fever, nothing. As per you, you have.
So only the audio or even video is there?
Yeah, video is there. I'll come. Don't worry. I'll first open all that which is required, and things will happen.
All right.
Since it is on
Rekha,
live on
ma'am.
video we are getting the echo like
Rekha, Rekha, ma'am.
yeah
Make no Gayatri Patel as also as co sir has been
co-host.
requesting
Yeah,
in
fine.
chat. Okay.
So that I can switch over in emergency.
Yeah.
Please move this window away from the shared application. What is this coming up?
Yeah.
Fine. See if you can see this video now directly. That's very important.
Mohidin, I have sent the YouTube link to your WhatsApp.
No,
Yeah,
no
yeah,
problem.
ma'am. I already shared to Telegram.
Okay. Yeah.
Already shared in Telegram.
And some other doctors also on our
Yeah, sure.
webinar group. Yeah.
Hello,
Yeah,
friends.
yeah. Shared,
I am
shared.
Deepak Mehta, 62 years old, paramedic.
So if I'm going and opening, is this visible? Check it, or I'll just have to do something. New share. Wait. New share. The PowerPoint is coming or not? Check it. Is it coming?
No, sir. Only the full videos is being visible.
Fine. Okay.
And the letters are in blurred, sir. The video is blurred.
I'll check it. Just see whether direct video is coming.
Yes.
Hello, friends.
No.
I am Deepak Mehta,
No, sir. No, sir.
62.
Only the
Don't worry.
audio is available.
Okay, I'll do that. Don't worry. I'll just try once more. Stop share and come again.
Okay, sir. Done.
Screen. Now you see whether it is coming. It's some black window coming. I don't know why.
Yes. Better you have. Do you have a VLC player with you, sir?
There, I have, but I should play through VLC.
No, just try right click and open with some other player, whether it is coming or not.
Okay. No, that's fine. It will come. I know. Zoom, I have done it. Don't worry. I'll just have to just reorganize everything and share screen, video, audio. Yes, share. I have to do it here.
Just put your PPT in slideshow, sir. So because everything is in blurred image. Yeah.
It's opening. It's coming up.
Yeah, sir. Just play in slide mode.
Is
Yes,
it
sir.
blurred or clear? It's still
Clear,
blurred.
sir.
Slightly blurred, sir. Yeah.
Blurred, I don't know. Why blurred?
Not sure. Some technical,
Because
but
I am
okay,
very
sir. But
clear here. I'm seeing in
yeah,
Gayatri's
but it is.
computer,
Yes,
it is
sir.
blurred.
Yeah, it's clear, sir.
It's clear, sir.
It's
Clear, sir. Now
clear.
it's clear.
Clear,
Ah,
sir.
yeah,
Clear,
yeah.
sir.
Now it's clear, sir.
Wow. Now
Right.
I'll just check once more video if it is
With the
possible.
video.
Otherwise,
Yes,
just
sir.
I'll do it from computer, no problem. Even if it is not visible, it's okay. We will talk about what is it saying.
Uh,
Friends,
yes.
I am Deepak Mehta,
It's playing, sir.
62 years old, medical healthcare. I am a
Yes, sir. It's coming.
It's coming. Good. So all we are set now. Let's go. From my side, it's over.
Mohadin, can you share PPT
Ah,
of
yes, ma'am.
IHM? I think in the beginning.
Yeah, ma'am. Now, ma'am.
Now I think we can do that,
Uh,
no? Or intro after welcome about IHMA we will be talking. So 2 minutes it will be 15.
The
Can you share
bloodness
that?
has gone, but bloodness of video is gone, still there.
it's
No, sir.
gone, sir.
No.
Slightly it's there, but it's okay.
Like this slide is visible clearly. Check it.
Yes, sir. Clear.
Because
Clear, sir.
I'm
Yes, sir. Clear.
absolutely clear, or there is
Yes,
a
sir.
blur.
No, sir. No blurring. On laptop it is not blurred.
Okay. Fine.
Rekha, ma'am, should I play this IHME slides now or
No,
after the
after
session
welcome.
start?
After welcome.
All right. All right.
हाँ बोलो. हाँ बस you may. हाँ आप
I request all co-hosts to let in anyone comes for Zoom meeting. We haven't shared it widely, but someone comes in, we can let in.
Rekha, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yeah, now is it visible?
yeah, yeah.
My sharing.
Yeah, it's visible.
Oh,
Yeah.
Remember to press the record button when the session starts.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Once it starts, I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
paused it. I will start.
Okay.
Even co-hosts also can start it.
Oh,
Anyway.
okay, okay.
Yeah. Uh, okay. Shall we begin, sir?
Dr. Rega, shall we start?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I will first run the logo, IHMA logo. Dr.
Yes,
Moideen, please stop your screen share.
Yeah, sure.
yes, sir.
Dr. Rega, you can start.
Good evening, doctors. Today we have a privilege of hosting you all for a wonderful session by Dr. Manoj K. Patel about homeopathic management of COVID-19, importance of knowing the mind in all its dimensions. First, I want to welcome you all to this session. Uh, now, our session will start with uh, showing our gratitude to our master, Hahnemann. He is the one for because of him we are here. Uh, we salute our master, Dr. Hahnemann, and I want to give you a brief account of our IHMA activities. IHMA activities. Dr. Mohidin, please share the video.
Is it visible, ma'am?
No, the PPT not yet visible, please.
I already started sharing, ma'am. Just a minute. I'll share it again. Now, ma'am?
Yeah, started. Yeah, it's visible.
Okay.
Yeah, you please move it.
Start, ma'am. Ma'am, you can start, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Mohidin. Now I want to give a brief account of about our speaker, Dr. Manoj K. Patel. Sir is a his topic is the homeopathic management of COVID-19, importance of knowing the mind in all its dimensions. About sir, he has presenting about COVID-19, which is uniquely generated mental response in every individual from fear, phobias, anxiety of salvation to recklessness, tormented mind played by a major role in dealing with this invisible force. It will be worth sharing a unique display of mental health, its characteristic expression, at mind and body. During all these stages of A3, anticipation of COVID, actual experience during quarantine, after quarantine. I will share how to use this characteristic display in construction of the totality. That's what Sir's synopsis is. Now about Sir, he is the Director Community Health Service, Dr. M.L. Dhavale Organization, Professor HO Department of Psychiatry, M.L. Dhavale Memorial, Homeopathic Institute, Palghar. He has conducted several workshops, presented papers and case reviews receiving mental health and homeopathic community health and nationality and internationally. He has been awarded Best Homeopathic Physician and Best Teachers Award from reputed organizations. He has attended more than 120 plus COVID cases during this COVID pandemic using WhatsApp video with variety of cases from mild symptoms to COVID pneumonia and witnessed powerful role of homeopathy as preventive, curative, and promotive healthcare system. So he is sharing his knowledge with all of us. Welcome you, sir. Welcome, and we are very happy to have you here. You have taken time out of your busy schedule. You readily agreed to share your knowledge. Thank you so much, and welcome you, sir. And the stage is all yours. Thank you, sir.
I have to restart screen sharing from here.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it visible? No.
Yes, sir. It's visible. Sir, share your screen, sir. Again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now see whether it is visible. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. Visibility is good?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Good. Thank you very much, Dr. Rekha, for giving this wonderful opportunity. I also see some of my senior friends, Dr. Ramdas, Dr. Kinjal. I'm very, very happy and glad that you are there. And it's a great opportunity for me to share this experience, and it's ever growing. When I've typed this biodata, at that time it was 125 cases. Today it is 225 cases plus I have experience. So this is the current reality of COVID. Every day there is knowledge which is growing in multiple dimensions. So I'm really start with my gratitude to my teacher, Dr. Kumar Dhawade and Dr. Anil Tiwari, who has instilled the best value of homeopathic practice in me. I am also thankful to Indian Homeopathic Medical Education for giving this opportunity, and Team Enlightened Education, Dr. Jawar Shah and his team for helping me to create this presentation more elegant and beautiful. Friend, I'm dedicating this presentation to all COVID warriors, and I salute to their families and entire team which is working for this cause. It's very, very heart-touching experiencing some of our colleagues who are quarantined. They have lost their colleagues, they have lost their family members, and it is very, very painful time in which we are learning every day something new. Every individual reacts in a unique way to pandemic, and that's what we are learning every day. This pandemic has created so many variants of symptoms and so many variants of presentation, from different pathologies to different pathophysiological symptoms. And every country, every state, and every city, and every family, is not only every family, every individual reflects this symptomatology very uniquely and differently. And sometimes day 1 is different to day 2, is different to day 3. So it is very important to understand, and I have almost nicknamed it saying COVID-19 spectrum disorder, because it's not one particular way of presentation. And not only that, now with this last few weeks experience, we are already seeing post-COVID experiences, which is much more traumatizing. We have lost 2 or 3 closed people in the process of post-COVID syndrome. So it is very, very important to understand this phenomena, and it demands individual attention in each case. Initially, we have done a lot of genus epidemicus, but I think genus pandemicus is not working, because we have to work much more close to every individual, and that individual presentation is critically important. And every medical fraternity, not only homeopathy, every medical fraternity says that every case is unique and demands special attention. And friends, who is greater champion than homeopathy? 250 years of experience of individualization. We know how to individualize each case from mind to body to tissue. Every aspect of individualization is studied from the time of masters, varied masters from Boninghusen, Kant, Boger, and till today. Every young and beautifully dedicated homeopaths have devised some or 3 new methods to individualize each case. But what I have probably specialized or studied is characteristic individualization of mental state. And that has been a very unique experience when I took each case in detail. And friends, I'm going to share with you all these dimensions of presentation. People who are having imaginary problem, to people who have actual problem, to people who have gone through the problem and yet they are not able to come out. Everyone has reacted and responded very unique way. And I'm sure we should be ready, but I'm putting up, are we ready for this challenge? And at the end of this presentation, we must say collectively, yes, that we are ready for this challenge. Friends, a very, very powerful experience comes in a survey that 2017 survey says, from very authentic source of survey recognized by Government of India, that 1 in 7 needs attention of mental health experts. 1 in 7. It's a very big figure. And this was before COVID. And post-COVID, almost it is like a pandemic. It's already in making, and it's going to flare up like no one's business. And friends, we must be getting ready to receive this different type of mental expressions, which is going to come to our clinic. From anxiety, depression, and number of such variants, and specifically post-traumatic stress disorder. People have lost dear one, people have lost their businesses, and all this is going to be reflected in our practice. Neglect in mental health care is going to be a very costly affair, so we cannot. WHO says that quarantine has a profound effect on loneliness, depression, harmful alcohol and drug use. self-harm behavior of people, suicidal behavior. We have seen a lot of debate going on already. Everything is at rise. What is this pandemic stress? Sudden disruption of daily life, not under our control. People have become suspicious of their own friend coming home. People have want to meet to certain people, but they are not meeting. So every small step is beyond your control. And continuous fear of that I will contract this virus infection. All specifically elderly people are still scared and extremely scared. And looking at this, even youngsters, looking at media, has created profound stresses in this pandemic. Prolonged physical distancing and disassociations with various social connect is a greatest problem. And webinar probably is one of the greatest way to connect to each other. Uncertainty is one of the hallmark, and every day patient asks, doctor, when is this going to end? Friends, COVID-19 will end, but what is not going to end is mental health pandemic, which is going to last for years and years to come. Get ready, be prepared, and probably with the hope that this presentation of mine will be helping you to know mind in different dimensions in this presentation, through this presentation. So part one, which I'm going to dedicate to one or two cases, which I'll show you where patients do not have virus, but they are scared, feared, and then what type of syndrome comes up. Part two is dedicated to whole process of people who contracted and how different underlying personality, how different underlying problem has created different type of mental pictures. Part three, people who are recovering but finding it difficult to cope up. Part four, preventive, some surprise cases which has created preventive aspect of dimension of homeopathy which has come to it. And part fifth is about homeopath. Homeopath, he has to heal himself. And probably this journey will tell why it is important that our mental health is critically important. If we are not healed, we are not ready to take this challenge. Kindly make your notes. My presentation will be rapid, quick, and I expect all our learned colleagues and friends will understand. And probably you can go and restudy all what I'm saying. This is just for the stimulation to understand different dimensions. So I'm not going to go in a workshop mode, but very powerful presentation mode where each case probably in 1 or 2, 3 slides I will be presenting. That doesn't mean my case taking is shortcuts. Each case was taken minimum time of 45 minutes whenever I have taken detail. And in first acute, definitely spent 15 to 20 minutes. So these are the various presentation in 2 or 3 slides, but definitely they are long cases. They are being studied in detail. So we will discuss all. If any questions, please ask to me at the end. I'll start with a very powerful first case which I received was a phone call of a young boy. Father called me saying my son is really suffering and he is suffering from fear of COVID-19. He says that he's all the time quarantined and locked up in room and he's not allowing us to also go out. He's questioning that you will contract and then elderly people and he himself will suffer from COVID. His fear has reached to the point of phobia. Even occasional bouts of sneezing and he will feel that could be because of COVID. He keeps telling his father that he has COVID. There is a strong family history of depression to grandmother and to family history of tuberculosis. What is this child suffering from? Is the child's fear proportion to the stress? What is his role? What is the role of homeopathic physician in this? So we have to study each case with perspective of vulnerability. Every case has sensitivity, every case has sensibility to resolve it, but there is in between sensitivity to sensibility is a vulnerability. Where there is a disturbance of vulnerability that affects the different type of reaction to this virus from mild, moderate to severe. Friends, I will present to you cases where mind is responsible for creation of body symptoms and simultaneously virus can also disturb the mind. So we'll discuss both the dimensions and the interrelationship between mind and body. Psychoneuroimmunology is most important for all students of homeopathy to study, to understand these phenomena and handle it. So stress is a profound effect on our entire immunology and neurology. And that creates different quality of reactions. Not only that, that probably weakens the system and makes this virus more vulnerable. We are vulnerable to this viral and its infection. Why? Because stress can be, if I try to explain to you, the stress can be conceptualized as a disrupting equilibrium of personal life. Stress is a response of individual to demand he or she perceives as taxing or exceeding to his or her own personal resources. Every stress needs to be understood from two perspectives. Actually, there is stress which we feel and we should follow, and that is how we create social distancing. Going out is not a normal life, but this is a huge stress which we have to handle. And what is the stress which is exaggerated is disproportionate to your constitution susceptibility, still your reactions remain very high. Like this boy. Boy's health is relatively fine. Overall, statistically, we have studied that this boy is less likely to get affected by this virus, even if it occurs to him. Why he gets affected? Because of his mind, his vulnerability. And then this boy can become, if not handled in time, become more susceptible to this virus. So fear of getting infection. So this is a key to this case, that child has a over powerful fear, and he basically was overprotected. He had a fear of dark, being alone, sensitive to quarrel at home between mother and grandmother, and little bit of fluctuation in relationship, and he will be very sensitive. Child is a very chilly, loves eggs, craving for sweets, pencils, and perspires profusely, and he has a recurrent respiratory allergy. Friends, baseline underlying patient's constitution is visible to you. Now you study what happens and how homeopathic literature helps you to cleanse the prescription accurately. So when you open up mind, fear, disease of impending because of contagious disease, epidemic disease of. So there is a continuous fear in this child. And you see the key remedy coming up in this case is all Baraita carb, Pelispor, Borax, Bovista, Calcarea, China, Netramur, Silica, Sulfur, Cephalinum. All these constitutions are very, very susceptible to catch this infection, catch this fear primarily, phobia. So, and not only that, later on I'll explain you how they are more vulnerable to even this infection. So the whole process is that Calcarea carb was given, and child really showed very beautiful response to Calcarea carb. Not only that, father was explaining importance of helping others. In the process, they will be talking some positive thing in life and not all the time negative news, because media has created havoc in children's life. Media has created havoc in many lives. So we have to come out and with social distancing, start doing something from our capacity. And that's how you will be able to overcome this fear. And they did that. Father started helping migrant people who are nearby, poor people in their colony, and child started gradually helping father. So that's how he came out very beautifully in very short time. The second case I am presenting is a 50-year-old divorcee who stays all alone. Daughter is there in New York, and you understand when I'm saying New York. Daughter has been into most vulnerable and rapidly growing pandemic force. So mother was continuously worried. Underlying, there was chronic anxiety state. And addition to that, she started developing tingling, numbness, formications, bodily symptoms. And she was absolutely worried. She said that, doctor, what's going to happen to me? Will this virus, I'll catch this virus. And she had impact on appetite, she impact on sleep. She was not sleeping, very, very prolonged sleeplessness. And specifically, it starts after 3 a.m. in the morning. She will get up early in the morning, very, very disturbed. Calls every morning, friends. And I had lot of patience to receive her. every morning with different type of changes in her symptoms, and she was asking, will it be all right? I initially gave her gelsemium 1 with this nervousness, with anticipation. She was partially better with gelsemium, but her disturbance at 3 a.m. persisted, and her original constitutional remedy was kali carb. So I gave in higher potency 3 powder, and see what is beautifully taking place. She immediately recovered from this, and most important part was that her phone call stopped almost after the 3rd dose of Kalikab 04. And now this case is already crossed 2.5 months. I am hardly receiving 1 call once in a month or a fortnight asking for her regular medicine. This is the power of homeopathy, that it has resolved underlying state, and that has helped her to overcome her various fears and anxiety. The second part is very important and very powerful experience. Here I have seen a quality different mental state in people who are infected with virus. Their underlying personality, their underlying stress plays a major role. Study characteristic evolution of disease, characteristic physical general, creating totality using all 3 characteristics of mind, body, and time. So what I am going to present to you is a rapid, gentle, and permanent cure. And I'm presenting some of the successful cases. There are n number of cases which has challenged me, and that I will share as we are proceeding. A case of a grief and a fright. Received a call from 62-year-old pharmacist from reputed hospital. He was home quarantined from 8th May to 15th May. Friends, he was asymptomatic. There was only suspect because the colleagues got COVID positive. They are in a hospital-based pharmacy. So very vulnerable place itself. And he had a mild heart issue in past. So he was little anxious about it, not more than that. He was advised to shift to hospital moment his COVID turned positive with elevated D-dimer and pneumonia. So how this has happened? It's very interesting. We'll study from his own journey. Investigation showed, this is the investigation when he came to me. I'll tell you the long story in short through this video. I have converted his video into 2 parts. It's a testimony video. It's not an original case taking video. In testimony, he tells how it started in the part 1, in part 2, how it resolves. Not only that, he also says as a consumer that I don't trust homeopathy because there are no research paper, but there was strong recommendation. That's why I have come to homeopathy. And my concern was D-dimer and IL-6 level, which is on rise now. Case is going to be vulnerable. Why this has happened is very interesting to listen from him.
Hello friends, I am Deepak Mehta, 62 years old, paramedic medical healthcare. I am a pharmacist running a medical store in hospital-based pharmacy. This video is introduced for the purpose of, the title is myself.
Video not visible.
On 8th of May, 62 years old, paramedic medical healthcare. I am a pharmacist running a medical store in hospital-based pharmacy. This video is introduced for the purpose of, the title is myself, COVID-19 and homeopathic medicine. I was home quarantine from 8th of May till 15th May because our hospital few staff got positive, and they told me that you please quarantine yourself. 16th Saturday Early morning, I had the news that my beloved accountant passed away due to COVID. So immediately I decided that since I was working with him, 10 days back I met him, better to get tested myself. 17th early morning, I had a report and it was detected positive. Evening, I came to know there is a small pneumonia patch in my lung. So for that, I have to be taken care of. On Friday morning, Friday evening, again I got fever. Friday, my partner, Mr. Ketan Shah, asked me to take homeopathic medicine. I was little hesitating because I have not heard and I have not come across through such medicine for COVID-19. No research paper has been introduced or no any claimant that they have cured COVID-19. So I was in little double mind, but due to my past experience with homeopathic medicine, and Friday evening we had a joint video conference. He had gone through everything. He had asked some few more questions. Then he said, I will see that 100% you will be cured within 3 days. Within 3 days.
Friends, this is very important. Why and how can some physician be so confident? Can someone say what gives confidence to physician? And it is very important to study. The sharing is visible. How come this physician is so confident? What gives confidence to homeopath? For all youngsters, all students, this is most important, that confidence comes from your ability to construct evolutionary totality, ability to see cross-sectional study properly, that what happened to that event, what happened to his mind, what happened to his body. He was asymptomatic till this news came. His fever started only after this news. Was it coincidence or this mental state was responsible? And characteristic physical expressions are equally important. And study of basic temperament in acute and chronic. Knowledge of repertory, knowledge of matra medica. These are all critically important part of your presentation study. So in this case, if you try to study, he lost his young accountant due to COVID-19. There was a distinct sadness when he presented to me. There was not only sadness, there was a mix of emotions with fright and fear that because of his minor heart issue in past, will he be able to survive? Because young man younger than him passed away and his D-dimer and IL-6 are increasing. He is a paramedic, so he understands this part. He was really anxious and he was admitted on Wednesday. By Friday, in spite of admission, in spite of all good administration medicines going on from Monday till Friday, his case was deteriorating. And his anxiety, his worry was clubbed with his emotional disturbances, loss of loved one. And this is something which is important, that how our susceptibility and sensitivity get affected by various events in our life. And this event needs to be understood. Even in acute, each and every case I ask, you'll be surprised. Each and every case I asked, once they are a little bit in lucid phase, when they are in able to talk phase, and you will find some or the other event responsible for cases who are asymptomatic to mild to moderate to severe, there is underlying mental health needs to be studied. Unless and until you correct that, the result will not come. The very next day of news, he felt feverish, slightly cough, easy exhaustion on the second day of fever. See the travel of the characteristic. On Monday, he was asymptomatic. Monday evening onward, all fever and everything started. Wednesday, he was exhausted. By Friday, the insidious onset has suddenly rapidly gone into disease. Increased hunger during fever. He loved spicy food and he asked for it. And causative mental expression of grief. Miasm is clear. It's a tubercular activity which is strongly dominating this case right now. And additionally, you can see that you have to choose potency, keeping in mind various expressions. So totality was constructed and it's very easy. I'm very sure, friends, all of you can come to this understanding of totality. I hope it is visible. My PowerPoint is visible. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And a few suggestions also in the chat box, sir.
Yeah. Okay, lovely. So, friends, for me, choice was this: arsenic, phosphorus, bryonia, pulsatilla, calcarea, lachesis, and lycopodium natramur. Friends, keep this medicine in mind. 80% cases this group comes in acute presentation or probably some characteristic presentation. You have to choose from known, and there where this characteristic concomitant will help you. That causative factor, mind, grief, and fright. Putting club together, which remedy which has affectionate base, which has sensitivity, fear, and fright, and phosphorus emerges strongly. And concomitant of craving, spicy, which was so characteristic. Moment he said during fever, my hunger increased. And I told him, you will be all right in 3 days. Friend, confidence comes up in this complete symptoms totality. And that has exactly happened. Final remedy was preferred for him. And then you see what happens. This testimony I'll try. If it is not, again, I'll go back to video and show it. It's very important to see.
Then I spoke to Dr. Manoj Patel. He said, what you are feeling? I said, doctor, I am feeling great. There is nothing, there is no sign, there is no fever, nothing. As per you, were very confident that within 3 days the COVID will go. And I felt that yes, with this medicine, COVID had gone. I took medicine only for 3 days. And I am very much thankful to Dr. Manoj Patel. I salute him, I salute his homeopathic medicine, and I do believe, yes, the research thing is not come. Though I am a paramedical field, I do believe, yes, homeopathic medicines is working.
See, friend, he started with homeopathy doesn't work. From there, we are able to see. You could hear him, right? Friends?
Yes.
You could hear him at least.
Video didn't play, sir.
You want to see video?
Yes, sir. It didn't play.
Okay. Tell me if it is visible, because there is something happening which doesn't make it.
Then I spoke to Dr. Manoj Patel. He said, what you are feeling? I said, doctor, I am feeling great. There is nothing.
Is it visible?
No, only audio is coming.
Okay.
Sir, it's okay. We can understand what he's about.
Yes, that's what
saying.
I don't think so. We want to see what is he saying is now he built confidence, and that's our role as a homeopath, to build confidence in community. Are you able to see my PowerPoint now, or it's not visible? Hello.
No, sir. PowerPoint not yet visible, sir.
Okay, I'll just go back to PowerPoint and I'll not shift now. Visible now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Full screen.
Now it's visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So I'll go to now. He developed his antibody. He was very, very happy now, easy to work in his pharmacy. His confidence in homeopathy has built. Not only that, he referred so many cases and he felt that we should come up with a research paper. I'll talk to you about all that in last part. Part 2 is case 2, which is very important. Now see, previous person, affectionate gentleman whose underlying grief and sadness was a part. Now exactly opposite person. Complaints of 57-year-old man recently diagnosed with angioplasty. He is having diabetes. He is under regular control by allopathic medicine. He is referred by his wife, who is known to us. He started developing dry cough on 6th July. And on 6th July, he says that, wife says that you take homeopathy and it appears to be COVID. And he says, COVID, kuch nahi hai. See what happens to person who recklessly feels, and he's working, he's going to work. And he complains that in spite of fever, all these things, he says, ye COVID natak hai, sab business chal raha hai, isme koi dam nahi hai. And he was very, very careless. I will not say careless, I will say reckless. He was not taking adequate care of himself. And wife says he has lost his mind and not listening to anyone. Friends, keep this underlying state is very important. Each individual has reacted so uniquely and differently, from that child, from that woman to another man to this man. No similarity. Everyone is uniquely different. So reckless, nothing is ailing me. And when I forced him to stay at home, do all the investigation, and he was scared. I gave him remedy phosphorus 200 on my past experience, but I was not confident. Here I didn't told him that I will be all right in 2 days, because I couldn't get the exact totality. But from my past experience, from number of patient helped, I tried to give phosphorus. Also, I referred rubric reckless, phosphorus was covered. So I thought probably this is variant of phosphorus. I gave him phosphorus, but it was a very partial relief with phosphorus. His test came positive, his CRP was high and rapidly growing into a more severe disease. Fever was better, again relapse in evening, weakness partially better, and I was not confident. His oxygen level started declining. We were almost on verge of shifting to him to hospital on 10th. But 10th, what happened? You listen. Phosphorus 1 m was given 3 times a day with very little help. See the response of phosphorus in previous case when it was similimum, and now you see it is partially similar. It has partially helped and disease has advanced. Now on 10th July, he has come up with very powerful characteristic. Cough increased, violent, as if lung is going to come out. Cough, fever during. Listen to this characteristic. He said, my cough is only during fever. Cold perspiration on forehead, weakness increase, sleeplessness, dreams of robbers. He feels that robbers andar aa gaye, and in the dream, almost like gets up from dream with cold perspiration, again on forehead. All these characteristics are very, very important. And fear of death. You see the man who was saying sab kuch galat hai, sab kuch jhutha hai, is now saying, is this disease going to eat away all of us? The extreme swing which is coming up like a bipolar. And his HRCT and lung has showing pneumonia. So fear of death, world is going to end. Dreams of robber inside his house, in his office. Violent outburst of cough as if lung will come out. Cough, fever during with cold perspiration on forehead. Craving for sour, cold drinks, but aggravate his cough. So now this is characteristic. Look at this, repertorize this, an interesting remedy comes. Can you guess which remedy is there? You can write in chat box. I'll give you small time. It's very interesting remedy. And you see list of remedy coming up: veratrum, silica, mercury, natrum, phosphorus, carbovage, alumina, cuprum. I was thinking of 3 remedies in this case. I was thinking of Drosera, veratrum, and cuprum. But it is very important to study from the perspective of now personality underlying and violence and with his characteristic dream. Mental state and mental health in his characteristic way. Veratrum alb was prescribed to him on, and if he had a feeling that world is ending, I have seen that I couldn't find, but in dream I could found, dream world is going to end. And cough, violent cough, fever during, all is covered very well by Veratrum. And finally, remedy was Veratrum alb. Now see the exact remedy when it was given within 3 days. This man was all right. First 2 doses, his cough and fever both subsided. After 4 doses, he was so much better that on 13th, I stopped all medication. On 14th, again, 13th night, he developed cough and fever. Mild fever was there. So I switched to Viratramal 1M. And after that, there was no major requirement. He was much better. On 15th, I gave him tuberculin 1M single dose. Friends, the next slide is important. Next slide is that he formed antibodies. On 4th July, an Independence Day, this reckless man got fever. On 6th, tested positive. On 11th, he started showing improvement. On 19th, his antibody was formed. And now this is repeatedly I am seeing with all homeopathic cases which I given. The formation of antibody process has been a very, very in time. I'll not say rapid, but in time. And that needs to be attended to in a research project in coming days. Impact of various neuron mental state. Now I am taking up an opportunity to present to you case from the hospital. One of our senior colleague, Dr. S.K. Fansalkar sir, has presented very interesting cases from Dinanath Mangeshkar Hospital. They are working there. So I'll tell you about that. Before that, there is a concept which needs to be understood that this virus is affecting neurons. That's why you get early symptoms of lack of smell, lack of taste. And from there, the lot of study has been done where people with many a time come up with all psychological disturbed symptoms during infection. Mind this word, during infection, the changes of mental state comes up. And this also needs to be understood from different variants of pictures which is coming to us. So if you try to understand this case from that perspective, I'm extremely thankful for Dr. S.K. Fansarkar and Tejaswini for sharing this case with me. And the presentation purpose is to understand these dimensions, which I talked to you from mind to body, now see body to mind. So 58-year-old man, same very bad family history, diabetes, hypertension, cancer. So all tuberculosyphilitic history is there. Personal history of parathyroid state. His constitutional remedy was known as a lycopodium. And in this case, when patient was initial stage, not in COVID, before COVID, all this remedy was used. This is known case to us. His mind was known to us. The small, this typical ground glass appearance came up. His case started rapidly deteriorating on 17th to 25th. He started with vomiting, appetite loss, weakness, and his SpO2 started going down in spite of all best of the care in hospital. His diagnosis was COVID pneumonia and miasm was tubercular. Onset was sudden, pace fast, and consolidated phase was coming up. So the LSMC is important. So you see carefully his weakness, and he continuously felt he feels like sleeping. And very interestingly, when doctors went to him for taking details, he was disoriented, confused. When he was asked about SpO2, he will tell about BP reading. When he was asked about something, what he eat, he's not usually, he's a lycopodium. He was not this confused of mind. And his confusion was coming up very strongly during fever. And this is also an indicator of susceptibility going down. This is indicator such cases are likely to go into cytokinic storm very rapidly if not handled. So the case was immediately been reviewed, and in this case, you see remedy coming up. Can someone see? Thirst increase for large, confusion of mind, fever during, and characteristic concomitant of all weakness with fever, 3-mark weakness and body ache. So all this characteristic is coming up, and you see 3 remedy: China, Baptisia, Hyoscyamus. Baptisia has a clear-cut this confusion of mind. The choice was very easy. But I'll share you a very interesting story of Hyoscyamus also. I have treated very beautifully case of typhoid psychosis in past. So how typhoid also creates psychosis, which is old time when typhoid was maltreated, was not having antibiotics. Many typhoid cases were switching to mental plane, and they used to go into psychosis. And it is very beautifully mentioned in our literature. If you open up Hyoscyamus, in Hyoscyamus they have written that psychosis after typhoid fever. So these are very interesting findings in homeopathic literature also. And friends, we must learn to study this. In this case, Baptisia was coming up very clearly. So Baptisia 200 was prescribed. And you see the rapidly on 27th it was prescribed, 30th he was discharged. And this is beauty. Most of my cases, even they are quarantined to hospitalized. After homeopathy, if you are accurate, within 2 to 3 days, doctors are confident to send them back home. But some people are in trouble when they are in rehabilitated form. So I'm taking the third part where you will see the impact of rehabilitation stage. People who are out of COVID but yet not develop antibody, and society as well as these people both are under the suspicion: should I go back home? Will I infect others? Will I infect my grandchild? And many sensitive constitution will come with this reaction. And homeopathy, where is the role of homeopathy in such cases? So I'll share with you one sample case. I have helped so many cases now, and I have helped so many cases with post-corona cough, which is so common now that it last case has come to me that he is contracted in 6th July. And today she comes to me saying that there is a mild fever with very hectic dry cough. And you have to take detailed constitutional study, and most of these cases are beautifully helped by constitutional remedy. So it's the same way this case was of underlying depression, was already there because of this lockdown. His business went into seriously down. People's money has not come back to him. In this situation, he was being hospitalized, and you can understand the early phase of 5th May I'm talking about, where he was going through such a serious mental low feeling. And once his business loss has so badly affected that it produced the symptoms of COVID and it was turned positive. Fever with body ache, business worry, and increased thirst with dry mouth. I think totality is clear. To even youngest homeopath will tell the name of medicine, and it works wonder in this COVID. And that name of remedy is Bryonia. He was shifted to hospital, and now I was involved. So I took detail on mobile. He gave me all detail from hospital bed, and then I prescribed him Bryonia. Bryonia, in 3 days, he was so much better. After that, immediately I gave him tuberculinum 1M1 dose on 5th day. Now he was being told to go home, and this man doesn't want to go home. And remember, Bryonia patient doesn't want to go home. The state was Bryonia, and he doesn't want to go home. Why? Because he's worried that he will infect others. So this state of mind is important. This state of mind speaks of their underlying constitutional state, underlying low-grade depression. So mental health is also equally important. So prolonged struggle in business, financial worry, feeling of being betrayed and disappointed in business. Very reserved person, prefers solitude. He loves his violin and he plays it. He's a great artist. An intense craving for sour food, loves salt, vitamin C, fear of contagious infection, in turn infecting others. He had a fear and he had another fear of infecting others. So remedies were very clearly coming up. Ignatia natramur aurum carcinosum. For me, I was having only two remedy in mind: Natrum muraticum and aurum mur. Aurum, since patient was hot, aurum muraticum. So I looked at repertory. Very interestingly, fear of disease, fear of epidemic, Natrum mur covers very beautifully. And on another side, very interesting rubric: fear of disease that he will infect others, and there is only one remedy written: aurum mur netronetum. Friends, I was intended to give this remedy, but I was not having this remedy with me. Not pharmacies were easily available. Everything was under lockdown. I preferred to give Natrum muraticum to him in this situation, keeping in mind aurum mur netronetum whenever it's available, and after seeing follow-up. He improved with Natrum mur. His anguish persisted, but he's is that worry, depressed, low mood, everything persisted. Post Natrum mur, he got rehabilitated very well. His antibody also was formed. But very interestingly, when low underlying depression was not going, I started with aurum mur netronetum after 4th week. And then his underlying depression showed substantial improvement. And this is what is advantage of studying the whole case, not just this particular episode. In all these three dimensions, before, during, and after. And complete case study gives you a very good edge, and that is about homeopathic role in prevention. Understanding how COVID-19 uniquely generated characteristic mental response in many individuals, from fear, phobia, anxiety, salvation, various states which is available to you, understanding concept of vulnerable constitution. So we will do that with the case presentation of a lady, 47-year-old lady, all the time had anticipation that she will catch the infection. The reverse happened. Her husband caught the infection and she was panicked. One side, there was a symptoms of husband who had a diarrhea. It was a clear totality of arsenic, but he says that, no, sir, I am getting admitted because my wife is really phobic. If I stay at home, she will be problematic and you will be finding it difficult to handle her. She developed tremendous anxiety, nervousness, and prostration and trembling of leg. For me, totality was very clear. Person who has anticipation, person who becomes weak to the point of almost like a paralytic effect, mild fever, dullness of head, thirstlessness, and she went on saying she also has a COVID. But then we did the test, she was not COVID positive. Great. She was so happy, relieved, and simultaneously gelsemium was given. Cry of vital force is on this characteristic mind whether virus is detected or not. So powerful environmental forces affects the system. And if you check this, you can prevent the whole episode of coming of symptomatology or travel of the disease. So the remedy was very clearly emerging as anticipation of illness, dullness, drowsiness, thirstlessness, with this morbid state, but very good state of sensitivity and susceptibility. She was more soric to psychotic in her nature. So gelsemium was given, 1 m, 2 dose only. Everything disappeared. Complaints was improved. Even test came negative. She was very happy. But again, I take no chance because she was exposed to her husband. So I took whole case in detail. Basically, she's a very conscientious person, extremely sensitive to various processes. To an extent, she's very clairvoyant. Something is going to happen, she knows. And this was one of the episodes. She says her confirmed clairvoyance. Her menses is staining. She's very sensitive to draft and chilly patient. Again, once you take complete case, remedies are always easy to select. And again, fear of catching infection, you see silica coming up. Silica was prescribed to her, 1 m single dose. Within 3 days of this, all this thing, all anxiety, everything totally disappeared, and she was asymptomatic for 3 weeks. So she remained asymptomatic. When husband's report of antibody was done, she said, "Mera bhi karwa lete," and we did it, and her antibody was positive. Now, this is very interesting finding. Even if RT-PCR has come negative, antibody has come positive, in between is gelsemium and silica. It's very interesting to study now what homeopathy can do to prevent the whole onslaught from ODP can be checked well if right time, right forces are being used. Case 2 is very, very interesting. And in this case, 65-year-old man who is a politician, very known public figure. He says, I have a poor immunity and I'm sure I'm going to catch and I'm going to die of it. His worry was not death as much as what he's going to talk next. He is a sleepless. He says, I don't get sleep, doctor. I get up, I sleep, again I get up. It's very uncontrolled diabetes, hypertensive. Angioplasty was done in recent future. Poor exercise, sedentary habits. He is anemic with poor immunity on injectable iron he's on. Now, for me, this case is most critical. If he catches infection, for sure, he's on respirator soon. So we have to save this case. Although my life, I have all through my, see, very interesting narration he gives. All through my life, I lived for public cause. I wanted to be popular man. I had a dream that when I die, there are thousands of people will come in my funeral. And they will, with films of tears, they will say, some acha banda aake gaya, some great man has come. This is his dream. This is what he wants to live for. And in this state of mind, now what happens in COVID? He says, my final rites will not be proper. My son will not give me Agnidaha. What will happen? I will not go to moksha. So his anxiety was not death as much as anxiety of liberating himself. And this is characteristic mental state. Very interesting. And you reflect. The whole case was taken in detail. And in his case summary, I'll tell you that he was a very, very coming from a rich family, affluent family, but he wanted to work on himself and he proved his worth. He was very workaholic, dictatorial, big dream of becoming millionaire. And he did that. He had a very poor health. On one side, there is a keenly sensitive mind and a very, very poor body. Appetite is heavy, but can't eat much, can't digest much, all the time flatulence. Many girlfriends, but no sexual affairs because his libido was very, very low. So you see mental and bodily activity, there is a big variations which is taking place. He boasted about himself a lot, that chief minister is asking for him to stand in election. And after pandemic, he feels, what is this sense of life? If I'm going to die like this, kya karna hai aisa jeena ji ke? So then this is the gloom which is setting in. And you take the totality, you can put up this anxiety salvation about last rite will not be able to be performed according to Hindu religious belief. And you open up homeopathic literature talks about all this anxiety salvation about religious practices. So if you try to understand and see boasting and everything and the remedies reflected here, lycopodium, phosphoric acid, staphysaceae, and lycopodium was the easy choice for me. Advice to take physical activity in form of pranayama, yogasan, and he followed. His diet was changed. His diabetes showed improvement. Everything is going well with this remedy lycopodium. But now interesting thing, his driver developed problem. He is driving in the same car. 3 days after that, that man comes positive. His son got it. Not only that, when I have typed, this was not there. He lost his mother-in-law who's staying with him, also had COVID. Friends, this case, I was extremely scared what will happen. But once a week, tuberculinum 1M and lycopodium every day. Still, it is now 4th week. No symptoms, no difficulty. And I wish and I pray our homeopathy works for him. And after some day, if I see his antibody positive, I'll be very happy to share you further story. Friends, this is the area of research question which I will definitely like to ask. And that is, can homeopathic constitutional medicine prevent infections of COVID-19? And if we do great research study, probably we'll be able to see that either preventing or probably we are able to cut short the whole process and create antibody much faster way and understand this mind, body and immunological response. But what I have learned is to handle this vulnerability, there is no compromise to take these 4 dimensions: genetic, biological, physiological, and cognitive. This aspect needs to be understood with underlying personality. Each case, and you see from case 1 till case, whatever I presented are all uniquely different underlying personality, uniquely different mental state coming up. So case cannot be compromised at a general level. And study in each case, you will find something and report to me whether you find this same finding. So studying each case is in biological, psychological, and social dynamics. It's so very important to study because biopsychosocial integration is critical to treatment of COVID-19. Virus affects mind, mind affects virus, and virus mind deteriorated mental this process very badly. Even cytokine storm has happened more in the cases. One of my doctor colleague has lost his father-in-law, mother-in-law, and once the death of father-in-law took place, mother-in-law went into depression and she also passed away. So this is the power of our mind on our body. And it is very important to each case that we study this in these 3 full dimensions for well-being of every individual. And I'm extremely thankful to my teachers, my late Dr. Teacher M.L. Dhavade sir, who has instilled this value that even in acute, spend time in that lucid phase when patient is slightly better to complete the detail. And that will give you rich dividend. From individual care to the care of community, all is important. Are we prepared to take larger challenges? Ask ourselves this question. Each individual care, if you have taken well, you have taken care of community, but you have responsibility toward community also. Which community I'm talking about? The children, adolescents, their mental health issues needs to be addressed. Elderly people, they are most vulnerable. People who are jobless, people who are homeless, and we have responsibility toward them to understand them in detail. Each case, whether they are able to pay money or not, I have taken in detail, and not only I, all my colleagues at our Dr. M.L. Dhavade Institute have this value of taking detail. That's how we are coming up with, from 17th August, we started very beautiful 50-bedded COVID wing in our homeopathic hospital, where our MD students are playing active role as a frontline worker. I'm so grateful to all of them and their family who has permitted them. One of the student family members said, if you don't go, you don't come here. You must take this responsibility. And I salute all these parents who encourage their children to take responsibility, because we as a homeopath has much more better sense to handle this condition than anyone else in this planet. And we cannot get away from this responsibility. Specifically to all my young colleagues, youngsters, you have responsibility, and you see what homeopathy can do. So it is very important. When you will be going back to your practice, you will see this all related dynamics coming up in your practice. Working from home looked very easy initially. Working from home is a different quality of headache. This speaks volume about it. Mother has to do multiple tasking. So many mother calls me, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. Why? Because I have to do multiple roles. बच्चे का पढ़ाई भी करना है. Schools are running at home, so she's teacher, she's mother, she's wife, she's working for some office, and she's stressed. And simultaneously, the relations are stressed. So many cases with interpersonal relations are coming up. So socio-emotional response to post-pandemic is critically important. criminal act and behavior increases, suicide increases. So we have to be very, very careful. Likely global consequences is very, very powerful. You see already what is happening at all the borders. We never had such acute emergency of government institutions going into crisis of managing so many fronts together. The crises are beyond our understanding, beyond our capacity. This time, very interestingly, like earlier, before crisis, after crisis, now the life will be before Corona and after Corona. It's very important to understand the global changes we would need to adapt to. So greater outlay of preventive healthcare, especially rising immunity. Our job as a homeopath to build this immunity is critical for us. We are champion there. In Ayush system and in Ayush also homeopathy has a much larger role to play. Play yourself safe, but you have to come front and take responsibility. Better focus on various families and our close communities is very, very important. In my clinic, most of the payments are also now happening through digital. So travel toward digital economy, learn something new. This virus is, I said that we started with a war with this virus, but this virus is not only this war, they produce so many changes inside us, inside our systems. And I call it Tandav, Shiva Tandav. It has come here to change us, and we have to accept this new change. We have to build this resilience, psychological, learning the realistic optimism, using our strengths, developing gratitude. Very important. This exercise of mindfulness and gratitude is critically important for healing of ourselves. Facing fears and managing anxiety, asking for support, taking responsibility for looking after ourselves is very, very important. Friends, India is changing. India has a strength. India has a people, trained teachers, the strength of homeopaths, mind-blowing strength. We have tremendous support from government, which no one in the world has. I traveled across the world and I found that we are lucky, and we should be extremely having gratitude to our government that they have so much of positive attitude toward homeopathy. So we have tremendous resource of homeopathy. We have spiritual resource. We have beautiful flora and fauna. We have forest. We have everything. Let's reimagine India, a better India after Corona. And the role of homeopathy is critically important for this new India. Most efficient and healing power we have. Most sensitive, human friendly. Most comprehensive and very, very philosophically sound foundation. Most comprehensive healthcare system which has preventive, as I demonstrated, curative, I demonstrated, and health promotive like that in old man. We have to come together, make homeopathy better. We are not adequately trained. We are not adequately trained homeopath. We are not adequately trained mental health workers. And not only that, we have to take responsibility of transferring our great knowledge to people at the bottom, grassroots level. We have applied, Dr. M.L. Dawda Trust and students applied for community mental health program, where we will be training health workers at the grassroots level to look after this pandemic, the emerging new pandemic. Each homeopath is blessed with Hahnemanian homeopathy, knows great aspect of mental health, and he must develop more skills to practice this. And not only that, teach others also, to teach your patient. And in this time, telehomeopathy has helped me. I'm extremely thankful to telehomeopathy. All 200 patients I have seen on my mobile phone, Zoom platform, whatever video conferencing available, and each patient felt personally connected. I could document through recording these cases. That's why I could present to you all of this. Rapid access to medical practice, which is happening. We are going through all wards and everything. and we can save life of all our homeopath who might be working as a frontline worker, not to be so exposed. Use telemedicine as one of the greatest tool. Learn some of the tricks, and you will be finding yourself far more better. And homeopath who can work on telemedicine will be able to touch each and every patient and can make difference. No conflict with allopathy and homeopathy. Come together. So many 2 or 3 cases I presented, they were jointly worked, and we could help so many patients. That patient comes and tells and salutes us. And I think if you can hear this sound also is good, just listen. Don't listen to this case as Manoj Patel, but listen to as a homeopathic physician. He was going through massive distress, and I helped him to overcome his anxiety, stress, and COVID all together. And I told him that, tell me a few lines about homeopathy, and he says something different.
Hi, good morning. This is Arif Panjwani from Andheri West. I had tested positive a few days back, and then somebody recommended Dr. Manoj Patel. Let me confess one thing. Meeting Dr. Manoj Patel was a life-changing experience. Like, I was going through a tremendous period of stress. Then I met him. He took each and every minute detail from me, gave me proper time, and evaluated each and everything, my shortcomings, and accordingly, he prescribed medicines. Let me tell you one thing. He's not only a good doctor, but a very professional, thoroughbred doctor. Just talking to him relieves half of your pressure. If you're seeing a smile on my face, it is all due to Dr. Manoj Patel. From the very day one, he instilled a lot of confidence in me. He was very, very clear. You need not worry. You'll be very okay. Let me handle everything. That is what you look into a doctor. I'm very happy to have met him, and in fact, my whole family and me are indebted to him.
My PowerPoint is visible?
No, sir, the video was not
Yes.
visible.
It's okay. PowerPoint is visible?
No, sir. You have to share again.
Okay. Tell me, it's visible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
PowerPoint visible? Yeah.
Yes. Yes, sir.
So friend, this is the last slide. Healing ourselves is critically important. Unless and until we heal ourselves and produce calmness within us, we will not be able to translate that calmness to others. And knowledge is very important. Dealing with one's own self-knowledge is critically important. One's own settlement of anxiety is the success of homeopathic practice. Each patient, whenever these patients and such testimony comes to us, I wish each case tells me this. I wish each homeopath listens to this, that patients are so happy with us. And that's what exactly I give credit to homeopathy, and I give credit to my teaching and my training. Each homeopath must spend time where training incorporates healing yourself. Training incorporates self-reflection, and we should have very beautiful integration with yoga and meditation. And then we will be able to do a lot of work. Not only we are having gratitude for man, we are having gratitude for even non-living substance like silica, natrum, all our medicine. We have gratitude for that. And live life in a way that you also become part of someone else's gratitude. And that's what we would like to live for. At Davde Trust, we have started this hospital. I wish, all of you wish, that we come out with beautiful research project in this new responsibility taken by our young team. Thank you very much to organizers for giving me this opportunity to share and keeping this platform open for question answer.
Thank you so much, sir. I will start with my own questions, sir. I have two questions.
Right.
So how you keep yourself cool during this stressful period, sir? Because treating patients so grave, won't it take you toll on your health, sir? I am very stressed actually if I come across COVID patients.
I understand. I understand stress is a very natural phenomena. But the most important part is that you are blessed with homeopathic knowledge. What produces stress in us is what we don't know. And most of the time, people are stressed because we don't know about this virus. Good homeopath, don't worry about it is virus, bacteria, or any name of disease. Good homeopath is always concerned about totality. If your focus changes from virus to totality, you will really become cool inside you, because when your eye is meant to see this totality. We have a very great Dr. Ramdas with me, and I have learned a lot from him. He is such a cool doctor I have seen that he's there with us right now. So some of our senior doctors are practicing with this cool head mind. And this cool head mind comes because their eye is not scared by the name of disease. Their eye is at the totality, and totality, if you get accurately, it will produce patients are crying and you are laughing, and you will say, oh, you will be all right. The joy is visible on your face moment you are sure that similimum is going to strike. And these transformation experiences are important, and that will come only and only by practicing in its totality. If we are having partial, if you want to be upset, you see what happens in media? Media produces a lot of agitation in us because they give you partial totality, never gives you full totality. Someone was hanged, murder ho gaya uska. So they produces agitation. China में ऐसा हुआ, China ने border पर इतना किया. We don't have totality of anything, and then it comes agitation and upset and disturbance. So one thing I have learned is all the time your eye should be looking not only in practice, everything in life to look into Sampurnata. Try to look in its full perspective. Automatically you will develop patience. You will be very surprised, madam. I am one of the most restless men. I get agitated easily, but it is just this homeopathic practice has made me gradually into person whom I am right now visible to you. So you go under transformation for your own practice, and that's the beauty of homeopathic practice. More you practice, more you become quiet, silent, and powerful.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much. Sir, one case, 80 years old gentleman,
Yes?
we tested for antibodies, sir. He's not having, it's negative, but I still suspect he had COVID infection. So whether antibody negative means below 1, sir. So
no, but was
does
it
that mean
COVID
anything?
positive was there or not? He had any symptoms?
No.
So
Symptoms he
don't
had.
go like that.
Only symptoms are there.
Don't worry about positive or negative antibody. It is only because so many cases, even if they don't form because of T cell immunity, they say, sometime it's so powerful that even antibodies are not visible. So you don't have to worry about that part. But you don't consider this patient not going to get COVID. This man is yet susceptible for COVID. Constitutional remedy is important to be continued till the COVID phase is critically not over.
Okay. Dr. Kinjal, you can unmute yourself and ask question.
Kinjal, it is important to see you. Socialization is important.
I hope you can see me now, sir. How are you, sir?
Lovely, beautiful, and still more beautiful after seeing you.
Same here. Okay. So just I wanted to know, a lot of insomnia cases have increased these days, especially in young, what I have seen. So have you had any experiences, and could you share any of the things on that per se?
Every other case is insomnia. Because see, what
Actually,
happens is
yes, sir.
one should understand that sleep is a symbol of rest. And right now, everyone is restless. Though they are in one room or they are in one confined place, things are not at rest. Mind is not at rest. So insomnia is the early tip of iceberg. There are underlying subconscious processes are started so that you are not be at ease. So why this happens is primarily because of darkness in a sense that we have fear of unknown. What next? Moment you are in that state, what next is you are like a watchman. Like watchman is all the time worried about some thief will come in the building, so he can't sleep all through night, right? So the unconscious or subconscious processes of alertness. Be alert so that nothing happens. Now this alertness is created by your perception of the threat. When you should be worried is only when you are trying to come in contact with people. Not all the time. So I should be very alert when I'm going out, in my society, when I'm going out from my society, when I'm going out for purchase. Can I connect and disconnect for this reason? Or I will be continuously like a watchman and alert. Then unconsciously, not consciously, but unconsciously, you will be alert all the time. And that's what exactly mindfulness exercise is important. That's why it's important that through social networking also be in touch with people. Human being is a social animal, remains in a group, needs tactile touch like all mammals. We need to have that. If you don't have that contact, at least try to, through electronic medium or whatever medium, be in touch with that and get rid of this media. You will not believe, no newspaper comes to my place with two reasons. A, risk of COVID coming at home. Second, don't want to read first page at all. Second point, I have not seen TV at all. You will be surprised. All news, no news. Because I started seeing China news when our soldiers were sacrificing their life. It produces so much of agitation in me. I have no problem in my life, but I bring problem in my dining table. I don't know reality what it is, but I started feeling very aggressive toward China. Why they are doing this? This is the worst time. We should help each other, and he's trying to create enemy around him. So all this is because we have a partial things available to us. Trying to go and fully experience, then we will be able to understand that there is nothing to be agitated about. Then the calmness will come. The sleep will instant process. 10 count, it should come. And help patients to disconnect, not connect. The problem of sleep is continuous connection. Disconnection is secret of success. So you have to disconnect yourself from thought processes and learn to break. रात को सोने के टाइम मीडिया नहीं देखना है, नेटफ्लिक्स का मर्डर स्टोरी नहीं देखने का है. You are activating your brain neurons to be alive all the time. Very bad. And thought is the greatest enemy of man. Thought has helped you to create this beautiful world. Thought has helped you to create this Netflix, or thought has created this webinar. But it is for that purpose you use thought. Moment you start be idle, the thought starts using you. And don't be victim to thought. And that's what all yoga is all about. Meditation and yoga helps you to disconnect from the chain of thought. And the sleep is instant process. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, there is one question. At what point should we test anti-SARS-CoV antibody, sir? On YouTube.
Minimum after the infection is detected or suspected. Even if your RT-PCR may be negative, but if your lung is COVID lung, which is very, three critical tests are important, which I have learned from my colleagues, senior colleagues, is your simple CBC-ASR, your CRP level, your D-dimer level are the first screening. If you see any uprise in that, then only you think of other tests which is required. IL-6 and other thing are hospital-based, HLD, HDL, IL-6, all ferritin. This is required if you are hospitalized and the case is going into second moderate to severe phase. So first phase, you did 3 tests, and if you suspect anything, go for a HRCT. That's it. If even RT-PCR negative, this comes positive, you think about it is COVID. And then after 21 days of complete recovery, you should go for antibody test. Preferably 4 weeks, I take it. But some of the experiment I have done on 3 weeks, they are also positive after homeopathy. Yes. Feel free to ask. We are a very nice small group right now.
So,
So YouTube, we have a large group. I am getting the questions from there. And someone, Sharaf Tusna has asked, our similarium in correct potency can abort the infection and raise the immunity of the patient. Is that correct?
Perfect. Perfect.
Yes.
And this exactly we have to do it as documented research now in coming days. And that will establish credential of homeopathy. Dr. Fansalkar and team are undergoing this research along with modern medicine people, and early findings are very interesting. Modern medicine doctors have given testimony that after homeopathy, there is clear-cut changes in recovery phase. They are much faster discharged from hospital to home. Statement coming from neutral force. So these are early findings. We have to still wait for some more time.
So doubt from
Dr. Mohidin, you please ask questions from the Zoom chat box.
Yes. So one of the participants in Zoom has asked, if parents don't want to test and take only homeopathy during 1 day fever and cough and tiredness with body pain, what will be your opinion?
There is no need to do rapid testing at all. At all. Symptomatology will guide you well. Only after 3rd or 4th day testing should be done, except case as an emergency situation. Because many a time early testing doesn't produce good positive result, even if it is positive. Second thing, if after giving your medicine, patients are substantially better, then there is no need to waste the resource of test. And if there is no senior person in the home, this is how I go ahead. Because tests were very, very less. Now this test has increased. If we have money and we do test, we are depriving someone else who really deserves it. So too many tests are not required. Test only you do it if the background illnesses are something which is going to take case into negative turn. 1 or 2 days fever, observe them as a corona patient, quarantine them straight away, follow all norms for 1 week for them. I have personally undergone that. I came in contact with one of my doctor colleague who turned positive. I had mild fever and I quarantined myself for fortnight. I worked from home. I worked from my own place. But this is more social sensibility. You don't have to be positive to be quarantined. Are you with me?
Okay, sir. Yes, okay, sir. Sir, another doubt from Zoom. How long it takes for the CRP to come back to normal in COVID positive cases?
All our inflammatory markers I have found that post homeopathy, it is very rapid. Most of my cases I have seen that CRP starts showing response pretty rapidly. But exact timing is not to be fixed, because I tell you each miasmatic response like tubercular, syphilitic, psychotic and soric, all miasmatic background will decide response of the test coming positive or negative. Obviously your simillimum, but in spite of all that, underlying miasms are important. I told you I am recently treating case of a lady who had developed fever 6th July. Till today she has a fever. Till today, till she started homeopathy. I took whole detail and her remedy was natrum muraticum. I gave 1 dose of natrum mur and I assured her next day there is no going fever will not come. And first time she lost her cough and fever both improved. So there are cases and cases where there is a prolonged stage of fever, prolonged stage of cough, and homeopathy has a great role to play.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Eka, ma'am.
Sir, one question from Dr. Archana. Post-infection weakness, what medicine works best?
So far, I have seen that such type of viral infection in third phase, when there is prolonged weakness, phosphoric acid has come up frequently. 2 cases I had a picric acid also, with peculiar picric acid, numbness and tingling. But most of the cases, if tubercular miasm is there, and if you end the course with tuberculinum 1M, the miasm should be studied well, and pneumonia should be in a resolved stage, then only use tuberculinum 1M, and it produces very fast, rapid response.
Sir, if we want to know the viral fever which was infected and the person recovered but does not know if it was COVID, how do we find out?
Why do you want to find out? Because still we are after COVID. I am extremely worried about this COVID obsession. Ask yourself, how are you? And that is going to decide everything. Only after 3 weeks, if you want to see first day of fever, calculate that and go after 25th or 26th day for antibody. If it is formed, then definitely you have gone through that experience. Like I quarantined myself, and when I have studied my antibody profile after 3 weeks, it was not formed. That means whatever mild fever I had was not because of COVID. So I am still potential candidate.
Dr. Divya Tangaraj is asking, is it necessary to give tuberculin 1M post-COVID to every patient?
No, I have not given to that gelsemium patient. I have not given to 3 patients. I have only given to people where there is a tubercular miasm was active.
How many is it to use arsenic R30 as genus epidemicus?
Big question. There are cases which has arsenical clear totality with diarrhea, with typical arsenical weakness, but that is percentage wise hardly 3 or 4%. I am again questioning genus epidemicus way we study. It is epidemicus. This is pandemicus. Pandemicus needs different study. That's what I'm going to come out with very strongly. And it has tremendous variants. So it is possible to get patterns, not one remedy. You might have, I thought initially phosphorus. So I tried to experiment with phosphorus, but it was not working even as preventing things. I demonstrated to you that in case of veratrum. So experiments have been done, but I don't think so. These experiments are really based on really scientific study. Unless and until those patterns are clearly emerging and studying, then only it works wonder. Though all of us give, even I till today, people come and ask me for arsenic they do, and I don't say no to them because we don't know positive part. So far, I have nothing to prove, except some government data are coming from Gujarat or something, that people who received arsenic, the less amount of intensity of disease has come. But all needs to be tested through proper scientific research. You cannot pass loose statement, it is working and not working. It's not good for homeopathy also.
If ESR is 25, C-reactive protein 13, and intermittent fever, RT-PCR negative, will it be COVID?
Less likely. So study so many fevers in monsoon comes, dengue, malaria, viral fever itself. Not all fever are COVID fever. And mainly I have seen frequently, not all cases, barring 2 or 3 cases out of these 200 cases, 99% cases had a low grade fever. That is very key to COVID. All other fevers may not be so low grade. I have found that frequently lycopodium type of totality emerging in quite a few cases with evening fever coming up. Only evening, 100 fever with lethargy and other thing. So typical of COVID fever is low grade.
No. Dr. Seema Mulay is asking, what is the probability of getting reinfection once got cured from COVID?
Very much, and that is going to be based on miasm. If you understand miasm, you can understand this: who gets reinfected by tuberculosis, who gets reinfected by relapse of cancer. Same way, people underlying miasmatic state needs to be studied. That's why I said emphasize strongly on a genetic background to be studied, personal history to be studied. Essentially, evolutionary totality is important, not just this totality, this particular presentation. So cases with underlying tubercular syphilitic miasm are likely to be more susceptible to reinfection if miasms are not handled classically, as Hahnemann has said.
What are the tests to be repeated after COVID recovery? LDH, D-dimer, ferritin, anything?
Nothing. It is all for your anxiety. Except X-ray. If HRCT, if patients are still coughing. 2 cases, the resolutions came to me where cough was persistent for 1 month. We did that and HRCT showed that pneumonia was not completely resolved. These cases I am worried. These cases needs to be taken very seriously because this second relapse of this case is very fatal. The case which I talked to you about, Netramur, that lady, her HRCT was positive after 5 weeks. July till now, not even 5, 6 weeks. So this is very, very critically important.
And Dr. Kunal Kuteja is asking, I have seen many COVID patients die due to clotting as the D-dimer rose. Do we need to focus on clotting part with Proteus, relapse, arnica?
Yeah, if patient is in acute state, yes. And I think all these are all hypothetical questions. Someone should do experiment with. I am also thinking about now post-COVID care. We are still in a beginning phase, but such thoughts are really good thought, but needs to be taken with totality again in mind, not just our assumption.
So one person from Zoom is asking, tell more about the D-dimer test.
What more? D-dimer is indicator which gives you idea about what is happening inside your blood dynamics. And potentially D-dimer increases, the all chances of clotting mechanism will be more dynamically affecting. We have cases where we have seen that there was a clot in a leg also in children, clot in a brain. I have just one of my patient who recovered and developed suddenly, he was a very old man, 95-year-old man, suddenly developed paralysis. Now, these are the people who have not completely recovered and their D-dimer levels needed to be reassessed from that perspective and to prevent. So now recently all cardiologists are also saying that be careful about heart and brain issues post-COVID because these are the conditions which is going to come up more repeatedly, more frequently, and they all are telling us to reevaluate cases at this front. So COVID is not just end. There is a lot of beginning after COVID. Great. I'm happy to meet all of you.
And his, one
Yes.
doctor is asking, history of recent change of country, any precautions?
Ah, recent change of what?
Country. They have shifted back to India, maybe.
Oh, I told already. Recent change means
Okay,
what?
sir.
Change in homeopath is important. Homeopath should come out as a young homeopath should take up responsibility as COVID warrior, frontline worker. Only then they will be able to produce good scientific document for homeopath. No one will take good history like us. And our student, our young doctors should devote their time in the board.
Sir, I think we can end the session. Few more questions coming in. I'm not really
Janek,
sure. Like,
huh?
yes, sir. Any specific for loss of taste and smell? How you treat that
You
symptoms?
don't treat symptoms, but
Yeah.
there are cases where zincum pulsatilla, Dr. Fansalkar reported cases. Even I had a case of pulsatilla which has responded to taste and this. Zinc moor is another remedy. But in 200 cases, I have seen this only in 5 to 6 cases. It is not so much as much is talked about. At least I have not seen.
Oh,
I had a
yes, sir.
cases where they were craving for spices and craving for food, and they had a few during fever their appetite. So all varied presentation came, and smell and taste was only 5 or 6 cases I have seen so far.
Uh, Actually, I came across a articles, research paper, sir.
Yes,
Loss of smell and taste is means they won't get into severity. So maybe that explains the thing. Maybe they will never end up in being severe cases.
possibly. But all
Uh,
are, again, I'm telling you,
Maybe.
everyone comes up with their own theory. Take with pinch of
Yes,
salt.
sir. Yes, sir. I think we can wind up, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Now I call upon uh, TN Tamil Nadu chapter treasurer, state chapter treasurer, Dr. Kinjal Shah, to deliver vote of thanks.
Thank you, Doctor. Um, so I think just the word thank you for Dr. Manoj Patel is very, very, very less. I don't know how to say this word thank you to him. It keeps on multiplying n number of times, sir. It was a very informative lecture. We understand that there's a lot of big responsibility coming up on our shoulders very soon, but definitely with the help of homeopathy as well as taking a totality into picture, we can all work together and get rid of a major crisis which can come in future to all of us. Also, I would like to really thank IHMA Kerala to conduct such wonderful webinars. Though COVID has done a lot of negative things, but one big positive thing which has happened during COVID is connecting all such pioneers of homeopathy and letting us all get the best of knowledge from each one of them today on this one single platform. So thank you, IHMA. Thank you, Dr. Rekha and Dr. Deepu and Dr. Mohideen. You're really building up the bars of homeopathy on a very, very great level. All the best for the near future.
Thank you to all of you for patient listening and great questioning. Thank you very much for giving this
Thank you,
opportunity.
one and all, and especially participants. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think we can end the session. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
Dr. Rega, you can conclude.
Stop the recording now. So then, sir, shall we
Yeah.
wind up?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Rega can end the session.
Yeah.
Dr. Rega, please end the session.
Yes, sir. So I think
Please.
we have to see how many participants had joined in. That's why I didn't end, sir. I'll ask Dr. Deepu. have. Hello. How to where we have to see how many participants had logged in. I haven't ended the session. Okay, okay. Yeah, fine. Oh, that in the yeah. Oh.